Hello, good afternoon. Uh, Welcome all to my class for business environment. It's our fourth class, and in this class we will cover the block 4, socio-cultural environment. And in this block, there is 3 units. Unit 10, social institutions, systems, values, attitudes, groups, etc. And unit 11, dualism in Indian society and problems of uneven income distribution. And unit 12, rural sector in India, social responsibility of business consumerism in India. So we will discuss about these units. And so this is our first slide, and this indicates the Indian synthesis, the navigating culture, economy, and corporate mandates in the world's most complex market. Okay, so next, the cultural DNA, the hierarchy, contextual type. In this, there is a net of uncertainty, avoidance, individualism, masculinity, power distance, long-term orientations. Those. So, acceptance of imperfection. Insights people do not feel compelled to take action, initiatives, comfortable settings into established routines without questioning. And individualism is like collectivist preference, insights strong in group loyalty, hiring, promotion, and trust rely heavily on established relationship. And masculinity, competitive and success driven. Success is validated by visible and material gains in the workplace. And power distance, high acceptance of hierarchy. Inside, managers accept obedience. Employees expect clear direction. Subordinates rely heavily on superiors. And long-term orientations like polychronic, karma driving time perceptions. Inside, high tolerance for changing plans, comfortable over in the fated path of reality shifts. Okay. The duality of organizational values. The traditional Indian values are group ambitiousness, embeddedness over individual autonomy, hierarchy over egalitarianism, personal relationship over contractual bonds, harmony and duty over confrontation and rights. And Western corporate values, individualism, equality and merit-based advancement, rational problem solving, strict contractual obligations. So this, the encompassing system, Indian culture accommodates seemingly into intolerable contradictions, peaceful side by side. The modern context, free corporate world does not replace the traditional one. It simply becomes one more context to adapt to. So now the mechanism of balancing. Context sensitivity. Behavior in India is governed by associative rather than abstract thinking. Rules are universal. They adapt fluidly based on the alignment of 3 contextual realities. Here, in this slide, showing the filters. First filter, filter 1 dash. This is ecology and place, the socially structured milieu, the geographical, climatic, and hierarchical environment where the interaction occurs. And filter 1 dash ecology place. This is, and a filter 2 Cal, this is time. First is Desh, second is Cal, the time, the temporal appropriateness, action is judged by the timing and cosmic practical circumstances of the moment. And filter 3, Patra, the person, the specific individuals involved, relationship dictate behavior. So there is, we always say that Stan, Kal, Patra. This is the Stan, Kal, Patra, Desh, Kal, and Patra. This is the 3-dimensional, 3 filters to act. Okay, to act or thinking about the to act anything, okay, and do anything. So a manager may enforce strict egalitarianism with a peer, but instantly switch to paternalistic hierarchy with a subordinate, shifting seamlessly based entirely on the path. The evolution of social stratification, era 1 ancient, era 2 colonial institutionalization, era 3 post-independence affirmative action, and era 4 contemporary relatives. So ancient is Varna and Jati, originally fluid, non-general genealogical categories based on occupation, Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudras shifted to rigid endogamy during the Gupta empires. And colonial institutionalization, the British Raj codified and rigidified castes via census data, race sciences, science and enforcement, and Criminal Tribes Act 1871, Land Alienation Act 1900, creating systematic values. And post-independence affirmative action is constitution bans untouchability, introduction of the Mandal Commission, and scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, reservation in public sector, jobs and education. And era 4 contemporary realities is massive economic mobility and urbanization blur historical lines, but issues persist. Caste-based vote bank politics remain. Intercaste marriages sit at just 6.1%. The diaspora discrimination emerges in global tech hubs. This is the evolution of social stratification. So now technological dualism, the friction of two economics, the traditional sector, labor intensive, patient agriculture and cottage industries characterized by the variable technical coefficients, the advanced sector, capital intensive, modern industries, tech, steel, power, and characterized by fixed technical coefficients and low absorption of labor, high artificially protected wages. The friction point or the disguised unemployment, The surging population meets low industrial labor absorption. The surplus workforce is forced back into agriculture, drastically depressing rural productivity and creating a massive structural divide in the labor market. Activating the rural frontier, 70% of the population, strategic imperative, rural entrepreneurship is not a niche CSR initiative. It is the vital macroeconomic transmission belt required to cure disguised unemployment. Headwinds, challenges, the one financial constraints, reliance on village money lenders charging exorbitant rates, infrastructural deficits, storage, transport, and internet, and social pressures, reluctance in take risk, preference for wage employment, social victory, storage economic and or employment. Tailwinds, opportunities like free entry into global trade networks, withdrawal of historical government restrictions, targeted institutional finance like CB, NABARD, replacing informal lenders. Okay. So this is the rural entrepreneurial unlock or activities, the rural frontier. Now the Consumer Protection Act 2019, a paradigm so that then versus now diagnostic table is category, scope, jurisdiction, pecuniary limits, unfair contracts and resolution, and the CPA 1986 and CPA means 2019. So Consumer Protection Act, this is 2 times. So then offline goods services, and but now explicitly regulates e-commerce, teleshopping, and direct selling. File where the seller is located, file where the consumer resides or works. District up to 20 L, state 1 crore, district up to 1 crore, state up to 10 crore, national 10 crore above. Unfair contracts not explicitly covered. In CPN 19, consumers can challenge arbitrary unilateral contracts, disproportionate penalties, unilateral termination. Resolution CPN 1986 strictly litigation. In CPA 19 introduces code attached mediation sales for faster settlement. So now CCPA, the new product liability ecosystem, the enforcer, the Central Consumer Protection Authority can initiate suo motu class action, issue safety notices, and force product recalls. The product liability web, there is 3 pillars: manufacturers, service providers, and sellers. Manufacturers liable for design, manufacturing defects, or deviating from express warranties. Service providers liable for imperfect, poor quality services or withholding risk information, and the sellers liable in the alter the product or fail to provide necessary warnings. Okay, these are the pillars and their liabilities. So the 2% CSR mandate, India's global first raw corporate revenue. First and second, this eligibility gate, section 135, and mandate this and permitted interventions. This, the eligibility gate applies to companies with gap net worth 500 crore plus or turnover 1000 crore plus or net profit 5 crore plus, and mandate spend at least 2% of the average net profits of the preceding financial year. So this is the system filtering to hunger, poverty, malnutrition, education, gender equality, environmental sustainability, armed forces, veterans, PM cares, development incubators, IITs and ICMs. So the penalty for non-compliance hello. Okay, this the CSR governance and board level implementations. The board CSR committee is there, and board duties is formulate, approve the formal CSR policy, disclose in publicly on the website, ensures the 2% spend and the monitor utilization. And CSR committee the must comprise 2+ directors, okay, or implementation modes is execute directly, section 8 companies and registered trust societies. So impact assessment is mandatory for companies with a 10 crore plus average CSR obligation and specific projects over 1 crore. Okay, so the NGO complaints level is the which documents are or which is the system of documentation and registration. PAN card, CSR 4 logs. There is first is a PAN card, then registration, it or 2A, and NGO Darpan ID and Form CSR 1, the mandatory registration with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs to generate a unique CSR registration number. Okay, is the system of registration, CSR registration. The Indian operating model synthesizing dualities, cultural fluency, economic reason, mm, and the cultural fluency, understanding that hierarchy and the context, sensitivity, govern, relationship, proofing, transcending written contacts, economic visibility, recognizing technological dualism, finding exponential growth by the linking advanced sector capable with traditional sector, rural entrepreneurship, adhering flawlessly to the stringent new realities of consumer protection, CPA 2019, or CCPA, and social obligation 2% CSR, mainly, or FCRA. So this is the citizen enterprise, and the aggressive compliance is the suits of the hyper adaptive organization that utilize this Western efficiency, respect deep Indian context, uplift the rural base, and turns rigorous level mandates into strategic market advances. The executive cheat sheet navigating India, the cultural mindset, consumer power, society status, economy, corporate duty. Okay. So these are the, so this class is this. So please go through these portions I have taken for you self preparation for exam. So please study the SLM carefully and thoroughly, and also prepare yourself by these portions. Okay. So thank you all for joining this.